short turnaround as they got today and I guess a little bit tomorrow. And they'll probably practice in Baton Rouge when they get down there. But this is a team that I really like the way Mekhi Mitchell's playing. He has come on like gangbusters the last 2 games.
Yep, 27 points in the last 27 rebounds in the last 2 games, and then also you had 31 points on top, or 32 points on top of that. So he's looked pretty good at this point in time, and that's the Mekhi Mitchell you were hoping to see with his brother going to Little Rock. He really needed to step up and has done it against one of the best teams in college basketball in Kentucky and on the road in a hostile environment in Columbia, Missouri. So LSU, Tommy, does have the luxury is they didn't play earlier this week. They didn't play last night, and they didn't play on Tuesday. So they've had a full week's rest, basically, to prepare for the Arkansas Razorbacks. But you still like what you've seen the last 2 games. Eric Musselman described it as the best 2 games, the best 80 minutes, he actually said, that they've really played all season. I know that's hard to kind of compute with them losing against Kentucky, but I don't think we really understand how good Kentucky is at this point. And so give them credit. They fought tooth and nail at home in Bud Walton, and they got their first road win against the Tigers last night.
Didn't settle for threes. It's something else he talked about. Arkansas took 61 shots from the floor last night, folks. Only 6 of them were behind the three-point line. They made 4. I mean, so when they did shoot, it was an open look, and clearly they weren't settling or jacking something up with 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock. So, in fact, he went as far, Ty, saying in his post-game comments to the media that it wasn't just a strategy. It was a mandate. He used the word mandate, and he said it was pretty clear if you don't take shots. I think he described it as from our zone 1, which is some internal term they use, but obviously a preferred shot. You were coming out and not going back in. I mean, so he made it clear that you want to jack threes, you can come sit with me. And they didn't last night. When they did take them, they made them. But 61 floor shots, 90% of their attempts from the floor were from the areas they wanted them to be.
6 3-point attempts, the fewest all season. I would guess, if not the fewest amount under the Eric Musselman era, close to, and probably one of the fewest attempts since the three-point line was invented in college basketball. So you still scored 91. That's what he mentioned was so impressive is despite not taking those threes, you still made it to that point. And evidently the team followed the game plan offensively because they were able to do whatever they wanted. They shot 59% in the first half, and Missouri didn't have any answers. Missouri started scoring a little bit. Arkansas had a few turnovers in the last 5 minutes or so, but really it was them forcing turnovers. 10 steals, the most all season, I believe, for this Arkansas team. And I know that, again, Missouri ended up with 84 points, but Tommy, Arkansas was able to get out of transition because of those turnovers that they forced against the Tigers.
Well, but also, let's be clear, I'm glad the game was 40 minutes and not 43. I mean, I'm glad it was. I'm glad there wasn't, like soccer, they have overage time, extend the game because of penalties or whatever, stoppage time. I'm glad there was none of that in the game last night because Missouri had everything going their way in the last, 4 or 5 minutes, and they kept closing the gap. Arkansas had a 23-point second-half lead and ended up winning, by 7, but that game I don't want to say got nervous. I never thought Arkansas was going to lose the game, but their flow and their offense down the stretch just kind of reverted. And there was 1 or 2 that they just got everybody overloaded on one side of the floor, and they just settled for a bad look. But I don't know what happened in those last 5 minutes, but the first 35, they played pretty well.
Well, they started playing stall ball, and that's an Eric Musselman philosophy where they just put Mark at the top of the key, waited 10, 15 seconds on the shot clock, and then got into a pick-and-roll situation. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and they pulled off more seconds off the clock than their traditional sets and whatever. And I know that fans get frustrated at times when they do this because, like you said, the offense comes out of sync, it comes out of flow. I'm the one that's like, here we go, and yet in a lot of these games they win anyway. But it is infuriating at times to watch because they do get out of rhythm at the tail end of games, but the majority of times they still end up winning because that strategy that Muss has implemented works in this situation.
Yeah, but I don't want to say it got hairy, or I was never nervous down the stretch, but I'm glad the horn sounded, put it that way, because
that's a good way to put it.
Everything was going Missouri's way as far as momentum down the stretch. All right, Chuck had a late night last night, but he'll be up. He's probably guzzling coffee right now, and he'll He'll join us here in just a little bit to discuss what happened last night in Columbia, and probably a fun plane ride home for the team in the wee hours of the morning. We're brought to you by a company we love and trust when it comes to anything involving fencing and gates and controlled access. You know, for a lot of companies, finding someone that can work with you on how to put up the right stuff when it comes to gate closures and gate openers and ways to access your company from the outside is hard. Whether it's walk-through gates, drive-through gates, you know, we think a lot of times about controlling access with you know big powered industrial gates. You can do that with wall gates as well, with cards that scan to get you in, RFID cards, punch pads, internet-controlled stuff. They know the latest technology when it comes to fencing, gates, and controlled access. 782-3936, 782-3936, the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
All right, we'll get to your calls and text on the McLarty Daniel Hotline coming up next.
You're good at what you do. I appreciate you having me on.
This is the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Jam-packed house here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names. And tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Gelco Outdoors is ready to help keep you warm during the cold winter days. Keep warm in insulated bib overalls, jackets, coats, vests, socks, gloves, boots, and underwear. Warm up with great savings on the 50% off clearance racks of men's, women's, and children's casual wear. Gelco has a great selection of Little Buddy space heaters. Gelco Outdoors, your local store for cold winter gear. Be safe and stay warm from Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Hi, this is Garen Armstrong with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. That small roofing company my father started 45 years ago has now become one of the largest roofing companies in America by following one rule, the golden rule. No one can install a better roof at a better price, a better warranty than Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Let our local family serve your family. Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Call today or visit us online at shamrockroofer.com.
2024 annual passes are now available at the Ben Guerin Golf Course. We offer a variety of plans to fit your budget and needs. We have special pricing for juniors, seniors, and military. If you are looking for the best golf value in the River Valley, then look no further than Ben Guerin Golf Course. Book your 2024 tournament outings now. For more information, call the Pro Shop at 646-5301. Go to benguerringolf.com or follow us on Facebook. When you think golf, think Ben Guerin.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For
insurance that fits just right. Find a shelter agent near you.
See Agent Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Agent Brad Howe in Van Buren.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Yeager's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red-hot buys at any of our 4 locations. DeWalt 20-volt compact drill and impact driver with bag and bit set, only $139 with your Ace Rewards card. Ace pleated furnace filters, buy 3, get 1 free. And 300-pound capacity fiberglass stepladder, only $99.99 with your Ace Rewards card. Find more everyday low prices online at YeagersHardware.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Chuck, it's good to hear you, man.
Yeah, good to talk to you.
It's always good to hear you, boys.
Mizzou with the ball, threw it to Vanover. Connor lost it. Mark to the other end with a two-hand throwdown.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, back here on the Morning Rush. Got a few responses on the McClarty-Daniel hotline after a 7-point win over the Missouri Tigers. And, Tommy, we'll get to some of those coming up on a Too Stupid Thursday.
All right, we'll do that in just a minute. We're brought to you by our friends at Modular Orange. If your business is looking for a new look online and your website is no longer functioning and efficient, or maybe the person that handled that for you has left your company, maybe you don't even know where the passwords are to this stuff. Hey, Modular Orange can build you a great-looking website, design it, launch it, host it, secure it. I mean, really just take care of every aspect that you don't have time for or the know-how. It's like me. I mean, if I was in charge of hitthatline.com, that's not my lane. That's not my expertise. Let's let experts handle that. That's what they can do. $95 a month is the cost, so any business can fit that in to the expense column. I mean, that is not a cost that is overpowering or will take away your ability to do other things. Okay, so how much up front? $0. They don't charge you a dime till it's up and running, and it takes less than 30 days to get your website going. $95 a month, and that's turnkey. And you don't have to worry about any fees or anything from then on. So give them a call, 479-755-3043, 755-3043, or see examples of their work and what I'm talking about online at modularorange.com.
Robert in Conway points out the fact that Florida won in overtime in Rupp last night. Both games between the Gators and the Wildcats have been fantastic. One in Gainesville, one in Lexington last night. And Florida hit a shot with about 5 seconds or so to go, hit a three-pointer and tied it up. Kentucky got a shot off the horn. It didn't go. And congrats to that squad, Todd Golden and company, for going into Rupp Arena and getting a big SEC win. The other game last night was Alabama, who defeated Georgia. It was about like 9 or 10 or whatever. So those were the other two games last night. But Kentucky, again, I guess we were wondering if Arkansas would have a lapse after Kentucky. I guess Kentucky had a lapse after playing Arkansas, Tommy.
Yeah, and, Kentucky's lost 2 of their last 3, obviously beat the Razorbacks on Saturday. Alabama's the team that I think is on the rise. They're the team. I think you're probably glad you're not playing them right now. And maybe they'll be even better when you get to them at the end of the year in March. But right now, Alabama's probably playing as good a basketball. Them and South Carolina are playing as good a basketball as anybody in this league.
Yep. Last game of the season for the Arkansas Razorbacks in Tuscaloosa, so they're going to be pretty ready to go. Mark Steers, one of the best players in the league. He's going to be a handful, as is Grant Nelson, who's getting a lot healthier. David in Alma, watching the Arkansas game last night, was unaware that Connor Vanover played for Mizzou. Looks a little different here, or a little different in Columbia than he did here, Tommy. Calls him a mountain man with the beard he grew.
Yeah, he does. What was it Clay said yesterday? His personality's coming out a little bit more. I'd agree with that. Yeah, so a little more individual personality.
To your point in the first segment about Arkansas kind of losing it a little bit as of late, David and Springdale happy that they built a commanding lead and Missouri wasn't getting able to over the hump after the fatigue started setting in a little bit for Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, was it fatigue? I just think that the game has its ebbs and flows, and Missouri finally found something kind of go the direction that's I don't say something they can build off of. They're 0-8 now.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're kind of in that same. We're in the same boat with those guys. This is a game that really both of you. It's probably more devastating from the standpoint that, hey, you're at the bottom of the league. If you can't beat these teams at home, who are you going to win against this year? And I kind of felt the same way, classified as a must-win, because I don't think there's anything as a must-win right now with where your season's at, because what's the outcome going to be? But gives you some hope. And I don't know what Missouri's hope is this morning, but maybe they can build off that last 5 minutes, because they did close that gap. But, again, glad that game was 40 minutes and not 43, because things were not going the Hogs' way down the stretch.
Chris wishes
But they won. They won. That's all that matters. The Arkansas Razorbacks won last night.
Yeah, Chris wishes they could play the Tigers every game. He sends that to us on Facebook. You do get to play them, I think, one more time this season. They're one of your repeat opponents, as is Texas A&M, and I guess, what is it, LSU? Is that the other one? It's A&M, LSU, and Missouri, right, for basketball?
I think that.
And Kentucky's not typical, but you do play them twice this season. But so you get them at least one more game the rest of the way. All right, let's talk to Ryan in Hot Springs this morning on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Ryan, good morning, my man.
Hey, how's it going?
Better than typical after a win last night.
Well, here I got to look at the schedule, and I'm not going to say it's going to be just super easy and going to be, and I'm not saying that they will do it, but you got to think after kind of what they did last night, and if they can build on LSU, these next 4 games are we have a potential to get back to at least 500 in SEC play. Again, I'm not saying they'll do it, but you've got your schedule at least favors you at least a little bit. I mean, you've got one of these 4 is Georgia coming in, and if you build enough momentum, maybe you can build enough confidence that you can play Tennessee when they come to you.
That'd be nice.
Look at the schedule wrong.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So Georgia, like you said, Georgia's next Saturday. Who do they play Tuesday or Wednesday next week?
I missed that part of it. It may be Georgia.
Georgia's next Saturday. Georgia's next Saturday. I can't remember who's the midweek game at home next week.
But my point is, though, is we got some pieces to build on, and if you get back to 500, I'm not saying they'll make the tournament, but at least you're setting yourself up to not have to start on, what is it, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Well, next you play LSU. Hang on, you play LSU Saturday. You got nobody midweek. You play Georgia next Saturday, and then Tennessee on the 14th.
Okay.
So your next 3 games are LSU, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Okay, so that's the break in the schedule. Yeah. Ryan, appreciate the call. Yeah, Dalton Connect is going to be a handful when he comes into Bud Walton Arena. You know about San Diego Vescovy and Zakai Ziegler and Josiah Jordan James, kind of the holdovers for not just last year but the last couple of years. But if you somehow get a win against LSU this week, then you do have the luxury, Tommy, of having a full week off like the Tigers have before they face you on Saturday.
Listen, you could play very well. You could play at a better level than you played these last 80 minutes, as Muss was referring to, and still not beat Georgia and Tennessee. I mean, and then you got to go to Starkville on back of that. Right now, all you need to do is worry about going to Baton Rouge and see about having a 2-0 week, something they hadn't tasted this year in conference play. Forget about Georgia and Tennessee. We'll worry about that later.
Well, LSU, again, not having a game midweek has the advantage of getting some fresh legs. Arkansas felt like they had the fresher legs last night, not just in the fast break points, getting to the rim, getting to the paint, and what they were able to do offensively. We'll see if they have that same success going into the PMAC, Pete Maravich Center on Saturday against the Tigers team that, again, is better than last season. We're going to hear from Eric Musselman. I've got plenty of clips that we're going to play for you this morning. Chuck is going to join us as well coming up, and other college football topics I want to dive into as well, Tommy.
All right, so we'll get to all of that. Looking forward to your calls and text on the McClarty Daniel hotline as well. Hey, it's Throwback Thursday at Joe's Grill and Cantina, South 74th Street in Fort Smith. They bring back the old classic Cuco's platters on a Thursday, kind of the taste that made them famous, the big Veracruz, the Acapulco platters. They'll have a different one on special today that they'll feature today. Every meal starts with their famous chips and salsa. They make that salsa fresh every day with fresh vegetables, even fresh, finely diced carrots that are in there that just really give it a great crunch and a great flavor. Tomorrow will be Fajita Friday, sizzling fajitas. You can always get their great crunchy tacos, and I love the enchiladas with that homemade sauce. It's great Tex-Mex, even better service at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
Also, again, want more of your calls and texts like Ryan and others that have joined us already this morning at 877-377-6963.
Best sports talk show in Arkansas.
I'm going to be like Rudy leading them on the field. Tommy. Yeah,
Tommy.
that's right.
Here, Chuck in the booth. What is the crowd cheering?
Yeah, I can't.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is The Morning Rush.
The Razorbacks have won it.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. We know that now more than ever, you want to maximize your tax refund, and we're here to help with road-ready certified pre-owned vehicles. They are simply the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our experience and relationships with the banks and lenders helps us get the payment you need while keeping more of your money in your pocket. Maximizing your money, another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
3rd District Arkansans have a proven leader in Washington, United States Representative Steve Womack. As mayor, Representative Womack led an impressive transformation of the city of Rogers with more than $1 billion in local development. In the military, Colonel Womack commanded troops at every level, including leading his battalion on a successful deployment to the Middle East following 9/11. In Congress, Representative Womack led the House Budget Committee in 2018, co-chaired the Joint Select Committee on Budget Process Reform, and currently serves as a senior appropriator. Throughout Arkansas's 3rd District, you can see his work on vital infrastructure like I-49 and XNA, national security issues like the F-35 mission in Fort Smith, and dozens of projects benefiting Arkansas communities. On March 5th, re-elect a proven leader, Representative Steve Womack.
Paid for by Womack for Congress. At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Agent Jason Hill in Greenwood or Agent Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Sunday, February 11th. There's only one event on everyone's mind, the store-wide 30% off sale at Diamond Center. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., everything in the store is 30% off. That leaves you plenty of time to do your shopping before the big game. Plus, test your throwing arm in the football toss for a chance to win up to an additional 10% off your purchase. Diamond Center, Sunday, February 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 30% off store-wide. Don't fumble this opportunity. Diamond Center, 151 West Dixon in Fayetteville and 4700 Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Benefield got it over the 7-5 Vanover. Now East driving as it knocked away by Davenport. To the other end, Blocker with a throwdown. Layden Blocker dunked it over the 6'8 Aiden Shaw. The Razorbacks are up by 15.
This is fun. It was fun last night, Z, watching Arkansas get their first road victory of the season, second win in conference play, and still not under 500 at any point under Eric Musselman. Chuck's going to join us momentarily. I guess the plane ride home, Tom, it was a little more fun for Chuck than what it's been these last couple weeks.
We'll find out here in just a second. Chuck had a late night. I'm sure he's trying to lean on some caffeine this morning to get him through. We'll hear from him in just a second. Brought to you by the Smithwick Original, suspending Rattling Rogue. It is the one rogue you want to make sure you have if you're headed to the White River today, or if you're headed out to do some cold water bass fishing. It's got that famous rolling action that's been around for 100 years. It'll help you catch them. You can work it in heavy current, the running water on the river, or you can work it in some slack water as well. It will suspend in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Smithwick Original, suspending Rattling Rogue.
Chuck, I listened to the post game last night. Must definitely in a better mood. Again, he called it the last two games, 80 minutes, maybe the best they played all season, and one resulted in a win last night.
Yeah, it was nice to win. I mean, that was the biggest thing. It's been so long, seemingly anyway, since they won a game. But just to win a game feels good. And I thought they played a lot better against Kentucky, and I think most importantly they were a little more confident coming out of that Kentucky ball game. Now, Missouri's not very good, and that certainly helped. But Arkansas took advantage of that. And sometimes you go on the road and you play teams that aren't very good and you get beat. So Arkansas was able to go up there and win, and got a little too close, I guess, for some at the end, but they were in control really from the start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I'm sure glad that game was 40 minutes and not 43 or 44, because the momentum was swung the other way. But Arkansas, I never felt like Arkansas was going to lose the game. It wasn't slipping away, but it was. I
think people wanted the scoreboard to say 15 or 20 at the end of the night. I think that's what they wanted. And then obviously it didn't turn out that way there at the end. But, when you're playing the last 3 or 4 minutes and you're way ahead, sometimes things like that happen.
And they did.
Bottom line is they still won the game.
And they went to stall ball and tried to, again, milk the clock, which they were able to. And, again, like you said, the end result was getting the victory. Muss was talking with you after, and he used the term spirit, which definitely been uplifted after a win last night.
Angry team. I think they were ready to play today. Rotations were comfortable for many guys. Zone 1 scoring was really, really important to us. Paint points was the theme of the day. We had 10 steals, which, I don't know how. We might not have had 10 all-conference play. So really, really happy, with the activity defensively. We changed some things on how we were guarding. I thought it really helped us in the first half. Second half, a lot of things we got to clean up. But when you're playing with the lead, sometimes defensively you don't want to put them on the foul line and stop the clock.
Maybe the biggest thing there, 19 seconds. That's what Missouri led last night. And there were a couple ties at the beginning of the game. But when you hold a lead for that long, it's pretty impressive to do that on the road.
Let's go back to the word spirit there. Sometimes, when you hear that word spirit before the game, you think everybody rah-rah in the locker room, you can do it and all this stuff. I don't think that's what he was saying at all. He said we were an angry team. And you look at what happened in that game. They scored 56 points in the paint. They attacked the rim. They went to the basket. They played with that angry spirit, if you want to call it that, on the offensive end. And I thought they were in attack mode. all night long. Now, look, Missouri's a team that you can attack. There's no doubt, and Arkansas did. But I thought they were in attack mode from start to finish last night.
And he made it clear in his post-game comments. You heard him talk about zone 1 scoring. He brought that term back up again. It just means he's trying to score inside. But he said it was a mandate that if you settled for an outside three and a bad look, you were going to come sit on the bench with him and maybe not go back. Chuck, they only pulled the trigger on 6 3-point baskets. They made 4 of them, most of that in the first half. Arkansas found where the bread and butter was inside pretty quick.
They did, and I thought they distributed the ball well. I thought Menifee played a good game last night. Blocker played a good game too, but I thought Menifee was really, really exceptional last night. And that hopefully, as we move forward at that point guard spot, out of those 3 guys, Blocker or Ellis or Menifee, somebody will have a good game that night. Now, we didn't see Ellis at all last night, but hopefully maybe one of those 3 will give you something each time you play. And I just thought that was a key part of the game last night. But, guys, Mekhi Mitchell's playing on a mission right now.
Yes, he is.
Sometimes until you're called upon to be the man and there's nobody left but you, it's a little bit harder to be the man. Sometimes when you get in a situation like this, I think Mekhi carries himself differently than he did even 2 or 3 weeks ago. I saw a guy last night, and he was this way against Kentucky, carried himself differently out on the floor. He was a bad dude. Played like that. Had that attitude about him. Mekhi can't help you unless he plays like that, just to be real blunt. But if he plays like that and when he plays like that, he can be a beast. And he's done it for 2 games in a row now.
I feel like we're saying, hey, that's his maybe best game as a Razorback. And we said that about the Kentucky game. It was his birthday last night. You combine those 2, he has 31 points and 27 rebounds in the last 2 games. And I don't know if you can expect that every game from here on out, but when you bring him off the bench, and you start with Lawson, you start with Graham last night, that definitely adds it. And additionally, what happened a lot of times is the interior passing for Arkansas, not just from the guard position like you brought up, Chuck, but Jalen Graham had a couple great passes to Mekhi Mitchell where he's just sitting under the rim wide open. And when you got your front court players finding each other down low, that just makes things a whole lot easier.
Yeah, Missouri did not play very good interior defense. I mean, they came to the ball too much and left guys open right underneath the basket, and they won 25 games a year ago, guys. I mean, they made it to the round of 32, and they must not have any NIL money.
Yeah,
because they got nothing.
They have a couple guys like Carter, Honor, and East, who's probably one of the most improved players back. But I guess, and is it Kwame Brown that was the guy? Not Kwame Brown. Kobe Brown. So he was the really good power forward that they are severely missing last year because he was big, strong, physical inside, and like you said, their front court got pounded last night. Arkansas out-rebounded them 36-25 last night. So for the second, 35-26 for the second consecutive game, you've out-rebounded your opponent. Hopefully that continues at that point. And it's not like they didn't have size. Vanover's over 7 feet. They got 1 or 2 other 7-footers, but Arkansas, again, really dominated not just the paint, but the rebound area last night.
Well, that freshman 7-footer is going to be a pretty good player, Butler. He didn't do much last night, but he moves pretty well. He's got a chance to be a pretty decent player. Connor's Connor. I mean, Connor's what he was when he was here. He's pretty much the same player. I like Connor a lot, but there's only so much you can do with Connor out on the floor, and I think anybody who watched the game last night saw that. Shaw's a pretty good player, really athletic. He had a baseline dunk that was really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
East is a good player. Honor's just okay. Vanderbilt plays Missouri on Saturday. I don't know if they play each other twice this year or not, but I'll tell you, the loser may not win.
I came all season.
And by win, I mean the rest of the conference season. I don't know how they're going to.
And the one guy that had a really good game last night against Arkansas was Tamar Bates, who got going in the second half. But one of the things Muss pointed out with him is he did have those points, but he had 6 turnovers despite having the 29 points. So yes, at points during the game, he was hitting shots and getting to the free throw line, knocked down 10 of them. But he also had the 6 turnovers. So at a certain point you take the good with the bad, and if you can force one of their best players to 6 turnovers, there's a good chance you can win the ball game.
Here's the thing about Bates. He didn't score all those points until Arkansas was ahead by 20.
Yeah.
Early in the ball game, he was frustrated. That's when some of the I haven't gone back and looked at the play-by-play, but that's when a lot of the turnovers came. He missed a bunch of shots. He didn't score for a while. And then it just, it was an avalanche of points from him, once we got to a certain point in the game, once he got hot. But by the time he really got going, Arkansas was well in control of the game.
And they knocked down. When you go into an opposing venue and the team shoots 50% from 3, that typically doesn't bode well. But Arkansas dominated so many other areas. They shot 58% from the first half. I think what was most impressive about the offensive performance last night is not only, again, you shot 58% from from the first half, but you only took 6 threes last night and scored 91 points.
And that's a real critical thing right there. You mentioned Missouri shot 50% from beyond the arc. Lots of teams will shoot 50% at home from beyond the arc. And if you get into a three-point contest with them, you're going to get beat. And I think that, when you go on the road with this team, just to be real blunt, if you get into a three-point contest, you're probably going to get run out of the arena. Mm-hmm. And I thought that last night Arkansas, they played their game. They played their offensive game with their personnel. And, Missouri, they did shoot 50% from beyond the arc, but it didn't matter because on the other end of the floor, Arkansas didn't get into that game with them.
Well, and no one prepares better or has a better game plan generally than Eric Musselman. We feel like you always have a chance going in because the game plan's good. They saw the mismatches. Why do you think he was so adamant about these mandates and he's talking about zone 1 shooting inside?
It was a mandate to score in what we call zone 1.
Yeah, he knew where the advantage was. He knew where they could take advantage. And you were talking about Mitchell earlier. I thought Mitchell just bullied him last night. He just took over and he bullied him. And I think they knew that going in. That was the opportunity.
No doubt. And I think that's part of the reason, as you say, why they were not going to settle for threes. Missouri doesn't have a lot inside, and I'm sure Arkansas is not the only team that's going to take advantage of that.
And how about the fact that you forced 18 turnovers and 10 steals? And Mus was talking about with you, Chuck, that he felt like that's the most they've done all season. Graham had 4 of them. I thought Graham was getting the passing lane several times last night, and I think it was helped. And I realize he also mentioned you can't do this every game because blocker and midfield are 2 of the smaller guards that you play at that position. But with Missouri rolling out East, Honor, and some of the other not exactly just like 6'6", 6'7" guards, you had the ability to go smaller and more defensive-minded at times last night, and I think that definitely helped lead to nearly 20 turnovers for Missouri.
Probably did. Honor's a small guard. He's 5. They list him at 5'10", which means he's probably about 5'8.5". He's thick, but he was overmatched physically.
Didn't he have I'm just going. It seemed like his name sticks with me. He had a really good game last year, but obviously not last night. But I think last season he was kind of a straw that stirred the drink a little bit.
Well, they've they got some guys back. Noah Carter's back. They've got a few players that played for him a year ago, but they don't have Kobe Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back and looked at the box scores from last year, getting ready for this game, and he was if Kobe Brown had played, it might have been a different story last night because he used to go back to so many games when he played up there. He was the one that carried him.
Yeah.
He was a great player. He was a great player.
College player. I think he's with the Clippers right now, and definitely, hopefully, can have some success at the next level because he did in college for sure.
Hey, if you're buying or selling a home, let me talk to you about my friends at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. One of the things that I found when I partnered with them to buy and sell homes was that, I always was kept up. I always knew what was going on. Let's just put it that way. They always kept me informed about what was happening, and that was important to me. And I know it's important to anyone who's buying or selling a home because the reality is 9 times out of 10 is the most money you're ever going to spend. And so you want someone that's as dialed in as you are. And that's what I found at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, and I think that's what you're going to find too. Now, lots of things go into buying a home. If you're a first-time home buyer, there's inspections, there's title companies, there's lenders, there's all sorts of things that perhaps you've not thought about. That's why you need to deal with a true professional, someone who understands the game, someone who's done it before, someone who knows the market, neighborhood to neighborhood, block to block. That's what you get with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith. They're in Branson now, and you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
So it's a Too Stupid Thursday. I know we've kind of wondered how much Jim Harbaugh was going to make with the Los Angeles Chargers. Guys, he's reportedly going to average $16 million a year for that franchise. I mean, I know you always go back to Nick Saban initially make $4 million in college, which was like absurd, unheard of at the time, outrageous. It was reported for me and Rappaport that he was going to make $11 or $12 million at Michigan if he would have stayed. I know we sometimes say like $4 million difference a year is an insane amount of money to us, but I know he's kind of an NFL guy, but I think part of he's publicly wanting things for players and wanting things to transition to the newer age of college football. But I think under the radar, in spite wanting to get back to the NFL, I think that NIL and the transfer portal was a part of why he also moved on to the National Football League.
And let's not pretend like he's not wanting to get away and exit himself from the NCAA troubles that are looming.
Too.
So, I mean, I think, Chuck, he's getting out ahead of the sheriff, to borrow the phrase, as much as anything.
Well, I think we underestimate how much of an NFL guy Harbaugh is. I think, we think of him as a college guy, and I don't think that's really accurate. I think he went back to his alma mater, is what I think. I think his heart's in the NFL. I think he wants to win a Super Bowl as a coach. I think he likes the pros. I've always thought that about him. And, hey, the money's silly, but the money's always going to be silly. And $16 million, $11 million, I don't think he made this decision based on money. There are headaches that come with being a college football coach that you don't necessarily have in the NFL, but there are headaches in the NFL that you don't have in college. So, you just, I guess, being in that position, or not being in that position myself, I'm going to guess that in his case, he's going where he wants to coach, and that's the National Football League.
This is going to come across as silly to some, but if you have a little brother, you understand. Tommy, you have a little brother. I have a little brother. There's a competitiveness to being in the same household. And the fact that his little brother, John Harbaugh, beat him in the Super Bowl, and he has yet to win one. They got there. John won. Jim lost. Got close. I think you'd be surprised how much that plays with it, because once you beat your brother in something, it's like a coming age of sorts. Like, I remember I used to kill my brother in everything. And then he got a little bigger, a little stronger. And I think that, as much as some people don't want to believe, I think that also played a role in this, him moving back to the National Football League. He wants a Super Bowl bad.
Oh, I think he wants a Super Bowl bad, but, I mean, they're not teenagers anymore. I mean, these are guys in their 50s. I think that, they compete. Sure, they compete. And if they were to, square off in a Super Bowl, I'm sure I guess they can't square off in the Super Bowl. They square off in the AFC Championship game. I'm sure it'd be a great game. Yeah. But who knows? I mean, hey, Harbaugh gets too much attention in my book. I don't think he's going to have the success at San Diego that a lot of people think he's going to, but I think he's going to be back in the National Football League, and that's where he wants to be.
I bet winning the golf match in the summer, or if they go, whatever they do.
I'm sure they compete.
I'm sure that's probably got a lot more intensity and focus on his thought. Now, like you said, if they end up on the field against each other, and I guess they will. I from what I've read, I think they're lined up to play.
They do.
A conference, or not a divisional game, but a conference game next year. But I would imagine when they and I bet they don't have a lot of time to get together and do things. I mean, you think about the life of an NFL coach. I bet there's not a lot of time outside of maybe a little bit of holidays here and there. They spend together doing stuff.
Yeah,
I would imagine there are texts and phone calls.
Yeah,
and some Zoom calls. And I would imagine their wives and children talk every day, or at least close to every day. I would imagine their families are very close. But I would also imagine, and in fact, I'm certain, these guys are consumed by football. They're consumed by football. That's why they do what they do at the highest level. It's a 24/7 deal. If they got time for their brother after that, that's great. But if they don't, he'll just have to get over it.
I do like listening to the parents after wins. By the way, I had it flipped. John's the older one. I flipped that up. I had it written down wrong. But that is a family that loves football 24/7. I got a kick out of when Jim Harbaugh was talking about Michigan was going to start on Valentine's Day because they love football. That's consumes him at any point. But I do wonder, like Jim Harbaugh maybe going back to the NFL doesn't necessarily fall into this category, but there is like a Boston College, like the Boston College head coach, whose name's not really important, but he's moving on to take the Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator position. And with NIL and the transfer portal, and you've had a couple coaches retire as of
Wait a
late.
minute. You're a Packers fan. You don't know the guy's name?
I had it jotted down. I got to find it real
He's
quick.
not a real fan.
I am a faux.
I thought you were a diehard.
I am a faux, fake, fraud
He's a
Packers fan.
bandwagon
guy.
I'm not.
Okay.
Okay, that's not true. I've been a fan since I was like 6 years old, but I am a terrible Green Bay
that
Packer.
guy that came from A&M, he's going to be our offense. His name's not important.
When Ty walks by the TV and the Packers are on, he pulls for him. That's the degree of his fandom.
That's pretty well what he just confirmed.
I
I don't know his name. He's just going to be our offensive coordinator.
Chuck, I've got a if you want it, I've got a Lambeau South T-shirt that has a picture of AT&T Stadium. If you want that, T-shirt, I'd sent that to.
I don't know if I could wear it now. I don't know if I could fit into it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I ran into this lady at a bar who had a Packers shirt on. She said, "Go Pack," and gave me that shirt. But back to the point. So the offensive coordinator, whose name I should know, but I don't. Again, it's the BC head coach. He's moving on to the National Football League. Pete Thamel put this report out. I thought it was interesting because I tend to think this is going to happen more often than we think, where you'll have not just coordinators in the college ranks, but you'll have head coaches that will take offensive or defensive coordinator jobs in the National Football League because they feel there are headaches that we know at that level, but they feel like that there are less headaches to a certain degree, or headaches that they can deal with more than NIL and a transfer portal. And I think that's going to hurt college football when you have certain valuable head coaches or valuable coordinators that move on to the national. And I think this is going to happen more than it's happened the last 10 or 20 years because of what's happened the last 3 years or so with the NIL and transfer portal.
It may happen a little bit more. I don't think it's going to be dramatic. And here's why. A couple of reasons. I think, number one, there's a certain type of coach that wants to work with college kids, pure and simple, does not want to coach professionally. And you think it's a nomadic lifestyle as a college football coach, an assistant coach? Take a look at the NFL. You know, you're lucky, I mean really lucky, if you keep a coordinator's job in the NFL for 2 or 3 years. Yeah. These guys, you know, a lot of them end up working for 8 or 10 teams by the time it's over. I mean, you literally go from job to job when you're an NFL assistant coach. It's that way to a great extent in college. I know that. But there's lots of things to factor in. Where you live, cost of living, kids, schools, all kinds of things come into play. We tend to believe as fans coaches make these decisions strictly based on football, and that's not true. I can tell you absolutely 100% that is not true. Sometimes it is. But generally speaking, it's a committee decision, and that committee is your family. And all that stuff comes together sometimes for these men when they make decisions on where they're going to coach. So I think there will be some. I think you're right. I think it's a natural tendency to believe that that's going to happen, but I'm not really sure that the numbers are going to show that when we add them up 5 or 10 years from now.
See, you mentioned some college. I think about like the one on campus right now here in Fayetteville, Bobby Petrino, successful college head coach, goes to the NFL, doesn't work out in Atlanta. Nick Saban, probably the most predominant example, goes to the Miami Dolphins. You wonder if Breeze gets cleared, if that would have been different. Doesn't have success there. Some guys, like you said, have success in the college ranks, but it doesn't.
But those are
translate.
head coaches. Those are head coaches. You know, if you're going to have a mass exodus, you know, you were talking about coordinators a minute ago. You know, some of those guys will move. You know, you'll have your Joe Brady's out there, but generally speaking, I still think a college guy is going to be a college guy and an NFL guy is going to be an NFL guy.
Guys, big weekend coming up at Oaklawn. We've been telling you about the Southwest Stakes and 4 stakes races all week or on Saturday. I read yesterday they're going to move the Southwest Stakes up early in the card because there's some weather late in the day, and they want to make sure they have a good track for that. So get to Oaklawn early on Saturday. 11:30 is the first post time on a special Saturday card with 4 stakes races on a 12-race card at Oaklawn. Download the Oaklawn Anywhere app to your phone, your tablet, your computer. New members can earn a sign-up bonus of $150 by using the promo code RUSH24. You earn points for cash back on every dollar wagered. It's Oaklawn Anywhere. Get the app on your phone. Get ready for a big race day this Saturday starting at 11:30 at Oaklawn.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Warm up with hot preseason savings on your choice of New Holland equipment right now at WT Equipment. Get 0% financing for 60 months or a free loader on compacts. Choose 0% financing or cash back on mid-range tractors and on select hay tools. Or get up to $40,000 cash back on a new T7. No matter the job, hurry into WT Equipment today and shop their huge selection of in-stock inventory. Now is the best time to get a truckload of savings on the trusted quality and efficient power of New Holland equipment. Offer ends March 31st. For commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification at CNH Industrial Capital LLC approval. Standard term, conditions, and other restrictions apply.
Semaglutide and Teraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas and Missouri, in-office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hi, this is Arkansas Razorback Kobe Branham. During my football career, my family has always relied on National Family Pharmacy on Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith, and your family should too. National Family Pharmacy is open 7 days a week, accepts most insurance plans and Medicaid, and is always there to answer questions about your medications.
Tissues, throat lozenges, decongestant, Pepto, wet wipes.
National Family Pharmacy, 1615 Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith. Go Hogs.
Subiaco in Scranton. If you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. We work to design an insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter Insurance ranked #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region, 5 out of the last 6 years by J.D. Power. Satisfied customers and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
See Agent Randy Milam in Alma or Agent Brandon Zimmerman in Barling.
Wheeler Power Sports is happy to announce their biggest clearance sale with combined factory and dealer savings up to $5,000 off now through Valentine's Day. Kawasaki Terexes and KRX 1000s are up to $3,500 off. 2023 Polaris Razors are up to $5,185 off. Kimco side-by-side starting at $67.99. Polaris generators in stock for less than $800. Wheeler Power Sports near downtown Fort Smith or online at WheelerPowersports.com.
Would you like to cut your utility bills without cutting comfort? Stay cool and save while enjoying the reliability and efficiency of a new Luxair HVAC system. Have your contractor call J&B Supply to hook you up with a Luxair system perfectly suited for your home. Luxair provides optimal comfort, energy savings, and lasting performance. J&B Supply, where the professionals go for all their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs since 1968. J&B Supply with locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Do you want to be a part of the team that makes the best pizza and wings in town? Well, I've got great news. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is now accepting applications for a full-time cook. Fill out your application in person Monday through Saturday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. You'll get to make the best art pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
For the double cheese and sausage. Right here, dude.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see an increase in the cloud cover. Our high temperatures this afternoon will climb into the lower 60s. Tonight, we will see a clear to partly cloudy sky. Overnight lows will drop down into the mid-40s. Friday, becoming partly sunny. Our high in the low to mid-60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
The Razorbacks have their victory, 91-84, the final score at Mizzou Arena.
Well, I think we played our two best conference games the last 80 minutes of basketball. I don't think there's any doubt. We look connected. We look like a team that has an offensive rhythm, a team that has a defensive rhythm. We lost the Kentucky game, one of the best teams in the country. Tonight, we knew both teams would be fighting for a win. Super proud of scoring 91 points and doing that with taking only 6 threes. I mean, that's super, super hard to do.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
You know, I think we all wondered, would Arkansas have a lapse last night based on how tough and hard they fought against Kentucky, only to come up short? They didn't. In fact, Kentucky may have a lapse against the Florida Gators as they lose in overtime last night after playing Arkansas, which I thought was an interesting game. Guys, only 3 games in SEC play last night. Alabama went to Georgia and got a win. Again, Kentucky lost at home against the Gators, and Arkansas beat Missouri at this point in time. Florida's an underrated team in this league, fellas. I mean, they played Kentucky tough at home. They got a road win last night after a game-tying shot with about 5 seconds left. Todd Golden's done a really good job there.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a tough place to go play and get a win, as proven last night, Chuck.
They've won 4 straight now in conference play. You know, we played them, and I can remember talking about how good they were, and then they went to 1-3, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just stupid. But and I might be anyway. But they've won 4 straight. That's a good team. Florida's a good team. They're going to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you got 8 or 9 teams probably from the SEC that will make the tournament. Arkansas, not one of them at this point. 2-6 in conference play, but did get a 7-point win last night. And again, didn't have a lapse after Kentucky. Eric Musselman was very complimentary of his team following that game, and want to share what he said coming up in just a sec.
Brought to you by APAC Arcola. They have immediate openings. You can go to work right now with a great company, work with a great team in Northwest Arkansas or North Central Arkansas. They're looking for licensed CDL drivers in particular. So if you know how to drive a cement truck, you know how to drive heavy equipment like dump trucks and stuff, they've got a job for you. Maybe you're a heavy equipment operator. You know how to work an excavator or a bulldozer. They got jobs in their quarries and other places on job sites. They need your skills and specialties. Concrete finishers, people with asphalt and concrete experience. there's opportunity for you. There's a wide variety of jobs. Check them out at jobs.crh.com. Top pay, sign-on bonus, big insurance, retirement and profit-sharing package that goes along with being on the team at APAC Arcola. Hey, again, apply online. Look at all the jobs available at jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
So this might not necessarily be Frank Haith, Mike Anderson, Arkansas-Missouri rivalry, but it still is a rivalry in the mind of Eric Musselman, and it's still very difficult to win on the road, and that was kind of what he spoke to last night.
It's really hard to win on the road. I know that with the fan bases, this is probably a rivalry, or it seems to be. I thought they had a great crowd. I think anytime you can win on the road, especially when you're struggling to get a win, when you play Kentucky and you get emotionally up for the game, you have an incredible crowd like we did. It's really hard mentally and spiritually to pick yourself up and go on the road and play against a team that is desperate for a win as well. So super proud of the bounce back from a mental standpoint after a game that we were all, including myself, everybody associated with the program. We gave it our all against Kentucky and came up short. We were able to put that in the back burner and get ready for today's game. Like I said, super hard to do for a college team, but our guys did a great job of it and came out and fought and scrapped and played probably their best game of the year.
So you didn't mention it there, but in the conversation when you, Chuck, the word angry was used. He felt like they played angry to a certain degree, and we've seen this stuff on social media. Arkansas basketball has gotten tethered this week, the last week or so, and you really felt like they came together after all this and played like a team last night.
Well, you wanted to make sure that the better effort and the way you played against Kentucky was carried over. Because if you lose the next ball game, if you lose to Missouri last night, what you did against Kentucky doesn't even matter. You don't build off of it, so it doesn't matter. And they were able to build off that. And, they're going to go play a better team Saturday than they played last night. And it's going to be on the road, and it's probably going to be more of a hostile crowd, to be very honest with you. Muss was generous when he said it was a good crowd. But there'll be more people in Baton Rouge Saturday, and that's 11 o'clock in the morning, but it's not a football game, so I don't know if it's an advantage or not. I don't know. But you don't have enough 11 o'clock basketball games to know, really. But it'll be different, and you got to continue to build. That's the thing. I don't think this team – frankly, is good enough for what I would call a dramatic turnaround. I don't think they're going to rip off 7 or 8 wins in a row. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
But I do think that incrementally they can get better. Now, I still think they're going to have to win the conference tournament to go to the NCAAs, and I don't think I'm walking the plank there when I say that. And I don't know if they can do that or not, but I do think they can get better incrementally. I do believe that. It may be slow progress. It may be – 2 steps forward and a step and a half back. And you got to be happy with being, half a step ahead of where you were, a couple of games ago. And I just kind of think that's where they are. But it was good to build off Kentucky. And now we'll see if they can build off Missouri when they go to Baton Rouge Saturday.
And LSU didn't play last night or on Tuesday. They get the benefit of what Arkansas has next week prior to Georgia. So they'll be a little fresher heading into this game. And you mentioned the early start. I don't think it has as much effect on basketball as it does football, but if you're looking for a benefit, at least you have that for Saturday at 11.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, we've just not seen enough. We've not seen enough 11 o'clock games in college basketball to know, but it looks like we're going to moving forward. We'll have a body of work here in 3 or 4 years.
That's about as short a turnaround as you can get. It wasn't the 8 o'clock game last night, but it was. I don't know what time did you guys get back?
Well, we were back. I think we landed at Drake. I want to say 12:45, maybe something like that. It wasn't terribly late, but I do think that's a good point. And Arkansas will spend the day in Arkansas. The team will spend the day today in Fayetteville. They'll go to class in the morning, and then they'll fly to Baton Rouge tomorrow afternoon. So I do think this 7:30, 8 o'clock business on Wednesday night and then an 11 o'clock game on Saturday, I do think that's something – and look, I'm sure they did pay attention to it when they came out with the schedule. But they're such slaves to the ESPN crowd when it comes to scheduling the times of these games that That's just even though they're 2 or 3 days apart. I mean, you think about your body clock. You just think about your body clock, your personal body clock. Well, you got the most important thing you're going to do on Wednesday at 8 o'clock at night, and then a couple of days later, the most important thing you're going to do is at 11 o'clock in the morning. And you got to be at, top level to pull that off. And it does screw up your body clock. I will say that.
And your opponent has a midweek bye, on top of that, and they don't travel. So I think it's a tough schedule ask in what they're up against.
And we'll have that against Georgia, not 11 o'clock, but we'll have the bye week and a home game, and that'll theoretically anyway favor Arkansas.
So if you're planning to come to Fayetteville for one of the upcoming games, or maybe even the baseball season that starts pretty soon, we're in the month of February this month, boys. Plan your stays at the Inn at the Mills. If you're coming from Hot Springs, if you're coming from Mountain Home, or if you're coming from anywhere outside of Northwest Arkansas, the Inn at the Mills, the place to stay. Big oversized rooms, great fast internet that you can still stay up to speed with what's going on at work and get some things done, or play your favorite game on your iPad or whatever. You get the personal touch from the front desk. Jen and the crew over there, they do such a great job, and once you're in their system, making your next reservation is even easier. You'll love the quality breakfast they have to start the day. It's just a great experience, and it's conveniently located at the Johnson exit in Northwest Arkansas, exit 69 off I-49. The Inn at the Mill, 443-1800 is their number, or online at innatthemill.com.
All right, well, when we come back, we'll get into our Morning Rush Daily Question on a Two Stupid Thursday.
The sign of a smart man is to understand that things change and to roll with those changes. And Ty, I applaud that you've done that.
You're listening to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Say goodbye! Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
If you hope heaven has a bar, it's guaranteed that you'll be bounced and barred. Heaven is reserved for those who have put their hope in God's Word. Jesus said you must be born again by trusting in Him, or you won't see the kingdom of heaven. God set the bar so high, that's why Jesus had to die. If you refuse God's last call, the Holy Spirit will serve you a fireball. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
if they can be as effective with their jumpers and such, getting to the free throw line, then you don't have to use the threes as much. And between Minifield and Battle, you got decent looks. And there's more in the tank for Davenport. His minutes were 14, and he didn't contribute. He had a couple turnovers, but we know he can be a dangerous 3-point shooter as well. So, but last night it certainly fit the game plan when they scored a season high in points in the paint, 56.
Yeah, most in 10 years apparently. Chuck was saying on the post-game broadcast. Tom, the combination of Layden Blocker and Keon Minifield hadn't been played a lot this season. It was last night. Missouri has some smaller guards. Does Arkansas have the ability to play those two guys on the floor the rest of the 10 games, or is that just based on matchups, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's one of the combinations. It's a possibility for sure, because I think Minifield could be a good off-ball guy, and Blocker brought him some energy. That rebound play was a hustle play at the end of the clock in the first half was 2 big points, and I think they can get away with playing those two guys in certain situations, for sure. And there was 2 big. To me, there was 2 big runs. The 8-0 run that made it, turned it from, I think, 20 to 12, from 12 to 10 to 20 to 10, got separation. And then late in the first half, the last 4 minutes, they outscored them, I think, 12 to 2, that gave them a 19-point lead. So the shooting was on. Their defense was better connected. Their penetration and dish was good last night with all the dunks. Then he wound up with 9 dunks. I think Chandler Lawson even could have given them some good minutes too. But with Mekhi Mitchell and Graham playing as well as they did, Lawson's minutes were down too. But all 3 of those guys had really nice shooting percentages.
So what's happened with the Arkansas front court? Because this was a front court that for the first third of conference play was really getting pounded, and last 2 games they've been doing the pounding. What's changed in your opinion?
I wish we could see every minute of practice or know what's happened that's turned things around a little bit there. But certainly the rebounding has been better. There's some games where they were just flat out blown out on the boards early in conference play. But, yeah, I think that trio could give you some mileage as they get deeper into the schedule, starting with LSU on Saturday.
Tom Murphy with us here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Tom, earlier in the show we were talking about college football coaches potentially moving on to the NFL, like head coaches taking coordinator jobs. I know that's something that might happen in the near future. Do you think we're going to see an increase in that, or is it going to be typical for maybe what we've seen the last 10 years or so?
I don't know. There could be some trends. Some oncoming trends with the NIL. I think NIL and just the way the game is doing now might have contributed to Nick Saban making his decision to retire. But that's a good question, and I think it's certainly a potentiality of happening that coaches get tired of having to. This is a pressure-filled game to begin with, and then when you add in kids coming in and saying, well, I got offered $20,000 more over here, and having to deal with that is a whole new level. And you note the frustration in many, many quarters regarding these kind of decisions, like Lane Kiffin. Now their collective seems to be doing well with the haul they landed in the off season. So I don't know. I think there's certainly the potential for more and more college coaches to make that move. And I am so sorry. I've got some kind of sinus infection like I've never had before.
I was going to ask you, you okay? You don't sound like your typical self like you do each Tuesday and Thursday.
I've got blockage. I need to go in and get a sinus cocktail today. This is not good.
Well, Tommy, I learned from you earlier this week. You got to get your doctor to sign a prescription to get a Z-Pack or something.
Yeah, you got to get that. I think the shot in the butt and then a medicine ball from Starbucks will fix you right up.
Did you get one of those for Lauren and the kiddos?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, Tom. Apparently, we
did go to the doctor.
We had the CEO of Call Your Drug text you. I think you can get one from Call Your Drug directly if you want to do that, because I know it's a hassle when you have to make a couple different pit stops or whatnot. But you mentioned collectives. have you got a chance to read what's going on in Knoxville with their, I think it's Sphere, is their collective, and Nico, their quarterback, what's been going on with recent developments in the NCAA?
Yeah, I have skimmed over that, and it looks to me like the NCAA has gotten tired of being the punching bag. I mean, we've taken our shots at them, and I saw Tommy and I, from the very beginning, used the Wild West terminology, and that was in the statement from the NCAA yesterday. So maybe there's going to be a little bit more teeth to what the NCAA is doing, because to say the game is out of control, I don't know if that's putting it lightly, man.
Well, Tom, we'll let you go, get something, get you a hottie toddy or something. You get to feeling better, and we'll catch up next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. I always enjoy it.
All right, Tom Murphy, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette with us. I think a lot of people are under the weather. He's with us on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. I got a house full of those under the weather. I think everybody's struggling with a little something right now that's going around.
My throat's scratching as of this morning. Maybe because I was yelling in happiness at the game last night, but it might be due to the fact that it's been a little cold and been a little sick as well. But
maybe you shouldn't go to Baton Rouge this weekend.
No, we're not gonna push back on that.
So, well, Chuck, Tom kind of talking through the game there last night. I'll be interested to see, one game something worth noting, two games, with Mitchell is something else. Can a third game be a trend that we can trust moving forward with Mekhi Mitchell's play?
Well, matchups are important. Matchups are important. You were talking about, do you play Blocker and Benefield together? Might be able to do that against LSU. Their guards are a little bit shorter. Every game's different. So, I mean, there are, it's just going to be dictated, I think, by the matchup. I'll tell you what this stuff about Tennessee and Florida State that you were getting into, I think that's the one issue in college football right now that's worth talking about. I'm not sure what's going on there. My sense from the outside looking in is that somebody turned them in. I mean, why did the NCAA, now they'd had a little issue with Tennessee, so they probably still keep their eye on them. Why did they pick Florida State? I mean, why out of the blue, when it seems like everybody's, paying for play and using money as an inducement, why, when everybody seems to be doing it, are those two picked out? Well, my guess is somebody turned them in, and they're acting on a complaint, which sometimes with the NCAA seems like the only time they act. So I'm not sure how this is going to develop, but I think this is worth watching because don't kid yourself. I don't think for a moment the NCAA as an investigating organization is going to be able to get its arms around NIL. I don't think for a single moment that's going to happen under the current structure. But I do wonder, moving forward, are they going to act when somebody essentially files a complaint? And I don't know that that's what happened here. I have no inside information. But it does seem very odd to me that when seemingly everybody's doing it, a couple of schools are suddenly under investigation. That tells me that a school that lost out on a player turned them in.
So the deal
but again, I don't know that that's right.
This is supposedly it's football and other sports, but it really centers around Nico Ilmaweva, or Veva, however you say his name, the Cali
Well,
kid.
That's what the report said.
The report
we
is
don't
saying.
know that that's entirely true. That's the narrative right now.
And that's what, again, supposedly surrounds that young man who, again, reportedly, I don't know, air quotes or whatever, is making $7 million or going to make $7 million at Tennessee, which is a huge
I find
number.
that hard to believe. I'm sure he's in the millions, but I think that's probably a stretch. Pat Forty's the guy, is the reporter that's kind of on this, and he's a good one. I mean, anybody that's been in his crosshairs will probably tell you that. But I'll be anxious to see what transpires on this because there's a lot of stuff going on out there that's untoward. And some people are getting away with it lock, stock, and barrel.
Well, you mentioned, Tennessee's already been in some hot water with the NCAA with the Jeremy Pruitt stuff. This could, again, amplify, become level 1, level 2 violations, and you just wonder. They haven't been, according to the report, they have not been served or received notice of allegations yet, but it looks like that's the direction it's going. Heck, you got the Tennessee chancellor, the governor of Tennessee, the attorney general of both Tennessee and I think Virginia have all gotten involved in this. So this is, and Tennessee and Virginia sued the NCAA. So this is like
They got people running for re-election. That's why these lawsuits are being filed.
There you go.
That's a great point.
This is an election year. Hey, let's pause just for a second and talk about V's Barbershop. If you want to look good for the weekend, or if you just want to step away and walk in and look well-groomed when you walk out and feel good about yourself, V's Barbershop is the place to go. Now, they got the new stuff that you like. They've got a television there. You can watch ESPN. You can watch the news. You can get away, so to speak, for a little while. But you're going to feel like you're in a barbershop when you walk in, too. It's going to have that feel that perhaps you felt when you were a kid and going to the barbershop was a ritual. There's nostalgia involved, I guess is what I'm trying to say, when you smell that leather and you walk into that room. And that's what you get at V's Barbershop. They've got 2 locations in Northwest Arkansas. They're in the Pleasant Crossing Shopping Center in Rogers. They're also on Southwest 14th Street in Bentonville, right off 71B. They've got 2 locations in West Little Rock, and you can always log on to vbarbershop.com.
So we were talking about the possibility of playing Keon Minifield and Lane Blocker at the same time. Might get to this week against LSU. We'll see what happens when you play some taller guards moving forward, but must liked what he saw from those 2 young players.
A lot of matchups and stuff, I mean, it has to do with what the other team has out there. And obviously when they play Sean East and Nick Honor together, it allowed us from a matchup standpoint to play 2 smaller guards together. There's often nights where we're going against 6'6" off guards, and then that changes playing 2 point guards at the same time. But I thought those 2 guys tonight played extremely well off of each other. I thought they both were extremely unselfish. I thought defensively they were really good. It created a little bit more defensive havoc for the opposition. We were able to extend our defense a little bit more, which probably goes in line with those 10-team steals.
18 turnovers that Missouri had, 10 steals like you heard Muss just say there, and the paint points of 56. Blocker, Minifield might be the best 2 penetrators, drivers on the team. And we'll just see if this is something that he continues to do moving forward, or if it's a game-by-game basis on this.
Well, again, as Muss was saying there, it's matchups. I mean, we've talked about that this morning. I mean, you look at Missouri's team right now. You look at the game last night. You look at every stat line from the game last night. One team was physically better than another. Arkansas's not going to be physically better than every team they play. Yeah. But they were physically better than Mizzou.
But you got to take advantage when the matchups are favorable. Hey, we're brought to you by Gaston's White River Resort. February's the month a lot of people have been waiting on, and it's here. It's February the 1st, and that means that area above the state park to the dam is open up for fishing and by all the regulations. Gaston's is the place to go get with one of their guides that knows exactly where to go, what to do, and I'm telling you, February is a month where the big fish are biting. So it's not too late to make your reservations. Winter rates are in effect, and the restaurant reopens tomorrow at 5 p.m. for the rest of the season. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner by reservation. 870-431-5202 is their number. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
First off, thank you guys. Y'all get me going to work every morning, so I appreciate what you guys do.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-30.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
If you hope heaven has a bar, it's guaranteed that you'll be bounced and barred. Heaven is reserved for those who have put their hope in God's Word. Jesus said you must be born again by trusting in Him, or you won't see the kingdom of heaven. God set the bar so high, that's why Jesus had to die. If you refuse God's last call, the Holy Spirit will serve you a fireball. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Sparky.
It's always fun to go inside the locker room after a win. This is from Razorback Basketball social media. Hearing from Eric Musselman and wishing happy birthday to Mekhi Mitchell. So we've had two birthdays this week. Chuck, yours was on Monday. Mekhi's was last night. Ended up with 19 and 14. He's had 31 points and 27 rebounds in his last two games. I'd say he's had a pretty good birthday week or so.
Yeah, happy for Mekhi. Two really good ball games, and now you've got to continue to play that way because the season requires it and the personnel situation requires it. I do think Brazil is going to be back, and I think it'll be sooner rather than later. But even if he is back, Makai's going to be called upon to play with the same kind of tenacity that he's played with the last 2 times out. Missouri's a lot different than Kentucky. He played really well against Kentucky, physical. I mean, took on big guys. Last night he dominated. He dominated against guys that, with the exception of Vanover, weren't as tall as he is. Now the Butler kid, I guess 7 foot, and the guy from Sudan was pretty big too, but they couldn't move. They couldn't move. And Mitchell was a lot more athletic than all of them. And I think Makai's a good player. I think channeling his emotions, I think that's always been important for him. But, right now, you think about what's happened the last couple of ball games with Brazil out and Devo gone. There aren't a whole lot of guys left in terms of personalities that can be the man, can set the tone, can do something that makes others follow. Makai's a big guy. He's 6'10". He's got physical presence. He's got some ball skills, too. And so, when you're the last one standing and there's nobody left to lead, sometimes you do. Sometimes you do it. We see kids do this. And I hope that's what's happening with him because I've always pulled for him. I'll just be honest. I've always pulled for him. When he's right, and I'm talking about from the neck, from the top of the head all the way down to his toes. When he's right, Makai's a good basketball player, and he can help you win games.
Yeah. Doing this coming off the bench. It's looked really good in the last 2 games. You hope it continues. And apparently Muss has said they've really started to play through him.
We're trying to play through him a little bit more, both at the elbow and in the post. We went back to running some of our 50 series. That's a set that we ran a few years ago, and our guys seem to be comfortable playing that way. And I thought our zone offense tonight was great. I thought we did a good job of not settling, trying to get the ball in the sweet spot and scoring the basketball.
Hey, let me mention something about the zone offense. You were talking about this earlier with Tom, and I wrote it down, and we really didn't have time to get into it. And since he said it there, it sparked this thought. I wish everybody would play zone against Arkansas. I think that's one of the things they do best offensively is attack the zone. I think, last night, you look at what happened. They slap that zone on them for the first time. They get the ball to the elbow. They knock down a jumper. Slap it on them the next time down the floor. Battle hits a 3 ball. They're out of it. Now they went back to it, but there was never a point in the game last night where you said, uh-oh, Missouri's going to zone. It's going to be tough now. There was never a point. And Arkansas's attacked zones well at other times this year too. I think this is a good offense against zone defenses. And sometimes offenses are really lousy against a good zone. And maybe good zone's part of it. Some teams throw some zone at you, and it's not really a good zone. Arkansas is not a great zone team. They're okay when they've gone to it, but nothing special. And a lot of teams are like that. But I think they've attacked the zone well all year long. I think that's the one thing offensively they've done okay at all season.
And to do, I don't know how many minutes Missouri played zone last night, but still scored 91 points and only 6.
Yeah, and again, Arkansas just physically overpowered. That was one team that was decidedly better than the other last night.
Yep, and out rebounded, got all the stats that you want to be on your side. And again, Makai Mitchell had himself a nice, happy birthday. Here is his birthday game. Well, this thing's not wanting to play. All right, we'll come back to it. My fingers, I guess, aren't sharp enough this morning. Don't have any fingernails. All right, that's pretty much your hog update this morning, and it's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky. I'm sorry, don't have the jingle on me per se because the button's not working. Chuck, it is.
Well, you got to sing it. Sing the jingle.
You don't have to give any malarkey.
You don't have to put up
with any malarkey. Call 888 Sparky. Okay.
You're not going to make any money singing.
No.
I'm just going to tell you.
No, they might, in fact.
You're not going to be part of a production crew that, sings jingles and all that kind of stuff.
All right, come on. This thing. There we go.
There we go.
With any malarkey, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Technology, man.
All's right with the world.
I guess. Hey, speaking of technology, Chuck, it's Change your password day. I have had the majority.
Not telling you my password.
I know. I have had the majority of the same password since I was in school here in Fayetteville at the University of Arkansas. Do you change your password like every 6 months, or are you a guy that's kind of kept the same several of them for a while?
Well, I change it here and there. I change when it's required. Probably not as much as I should. But, I change it every once in a while.
That's what I do, is when it says, hey, your password's expired after 60 days, 6 months, a year, whatever. The only time I ever change a password, to be perfectly honest, is when it's actually asked of me to this point. But I don't make a habit of doing that when it comes to stuff like this. But again, change your password day if that's something you do. I know some of you are very meticulous about that. You have all these different symbols, all these different numbers, capital letters, lowercase, and others like me have kept their same passwords for like 10 years now, wherever the case. You probably need to be in the other camp if you want to be
You're revealing a lot right now, Ty. Scammers are out there making notes right now.
Listening.
This Richardson kid on the radio, he's not he doesn't change his password.
I don't remember if you were on with us yet, Chuck, but the one time I actually got money taken out of my credit card, they bought a like $400 bike and a bunch of like bras and panties. That was what they ended up. It was like $600 worth of that, and then a bunch of the other stuff as well, which I thought was kind of an interesting purchase. But ended up spotting it, and luckily Wells Fargo gave me my money back at this point, which is always a good thing. It's not as hard to get money back from the credit card. It's a little more difficult to get it back when you're banks, when you have to go through that philosophy. Hey, I want to tell you about this event going on in MENA this weekend. It's this Saturday and Sunday, the American Patriots Promotion Gun Show. It's this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and this Sunday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is a firearms extravaganza for everyone, collectors, buyers, even if you're just, curious about firearms. We're going to have great vendors from all over the place, guns, ammo, knives, coins. This is an event for the entire family. Plus, there's free hourly drawings and supplies and gift certificates that are going to be used at the show, barbecue, other food, and more. So if you want to come support freedom and our Second Amendment rights at the Polk County Fairgrounds in MENA, come this Saturday, February 3rd, and Sunday, February 4th. Again, starts at 9 a.m. this Saturday and 9 a.m. this Sunday as well. If you mention you heard this on ESPN Radio, you're going to receive a free entry in our grand prize giveaway. In fact, we've got a couple passes. So if you want to go to this event free of charge, you can do so. We're going to take the first two callers at 877-377-6963. You'll get two pass entries. Again, 877-377-6963 if you want to go to the American Patriots Promotion Gun Show this weekend in MENA, either on Saturday or Sunday. All right, we still got a lot to get to coming up here on the Morning Rush. Hour number 3. We're going to hear more from Eric Mossman on the win last night. I do want to come back to the Tennessee NIL stuff that they're having a dispute with the NCAA. And I want to talk a little Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is in his 4th Super Bowl in 5th years, and he actually credits Tom Brady for helping him get there. Hour number 3 is next on the Morning Rush.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Get ready for a new year of work with limited time savings on Bobcat equipment at Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas in Rogers. Get as low as 0% for 72 months on a Bobcat compact tractor, or choose a free front-end loader when you buy with cash. Special offers are also available on Bobcat zero-turn mowers with financing as low as 0% for 48 months, or rebates up to $900 on select models. Call Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas or come by to get these great deals. Hurry, these offers end March 31st. Some exclusions apply.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep West Ark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
West Ark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Hi, this is Arkansas Razorback Kobe Branham. During my football career, my family has always relied on National Family Pharmacy on Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith, and your family should too. National Family Pharmacy is open 7 days a week, accepts most insurance plans and Medicaid, and is always there to answer questions about your medications.
Tissues, throat lozenges, decongestant, Pepto, wet wipes.
National Family Pharmacy, 1615 Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith. Go Hogs.
Sunday, February 11th. There's only one event on everyone's mind, the store-wide 30% off sale at Diamond Center. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., everything in the store is 30% off. That leaves you plenty of time to do your shopping before the big game. Plus, test your throwing arm in the football toss for a chance to win up to an additional 10% off your purchase. Diamond Center, Sunday, February 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 30% off store-wide. Don't fumble this opportunity. Diamond Center, 151 West Dixon in Fayetteville and 4700 Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills and upgrading your home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Gelco Outdoors is ready to help keep you warm during the cold winter days. Keep warm in insulated bib overalls, jackets, coats, vests, socks, gloves, boots, and underwear. Warm up with great savings on the 50% off clearance racks of men's, women's, and children's casual wear. Gelco has a great selection of Little Buddy space heaters. Gelco Outdoors, your local store for cold winter gear. Be safe and stay warm from Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see an increase in the cloud cover. Our high temperatures this afternoon will climb into the lower 60s. Tonight, we will see a clear to partly cloudy sky. Overnight lows will drop down into the mid-40s. Friday, becoming partly sunny. Our high in the low to mid-60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today.
You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
The Razorbacks have their victory, 91-84, the final score at Mizzou Arena.
Well, I think we played our two best conference games the last 80 minutes of basketball. I don't think there's any doubt. We look connected. We look like a team that has an offensive rhythm, a team that has a defensive rhythm. We lost the Kentucky game, one of the best teams in the country. Tonight, we knew both teams would be fighting for a win. Super proud of scoring 91 points and doing that with taking only 6 threes. I mean, that's super, super hard to do.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
And welcome into hour number 3 of the Morning Rush here on a Too Stupid Thursday. I think it's pretty outrageous that Jim Harbaugh is reportedly making $16 million to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. But I guess that's just where the sport, not just in the National Football League, but college football, is headed. Well, I don't know if you can make $16 million on the Bet Saracen app, but you can make some money, like my friend last night. Chuck, he bet the Arkansas money line, and he got him at plus 5.5, made $680 last night on the Hogs. Pretty happy.
Was he sweating at the end?
No, he was cool as a cucumber.
Oh, he got him plus 5.5. I didn't know what it was last night.
Yeah, they were underdogs. I was kind of surprised it was that big, but Arkansas, I guess they hadn't
Missouri was favored by 5.5?
5.5, Chuck.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he won $680 last night. He paid for half of his golf trip.
Stealing.
I know. He was pretty ecstatic. But like him, you can make some money on the Bet Saracen app. Easy to download on both iOS and Google Play as well. So whether it's Arkansas sports, college football, which is, again, ended as of now, but you can already bet on some stuff for next season, NFL, NCAA basketball, NBA. Bet Saracen has everything you need. Now, again, a lot of laws in Arkansas prohibit other apps being in the state, the national apps, but Bet Saracen is catered towards you. It's Vegas, Arkansas style. So go on the App Store, download Bet Saracen, or go to betsaracen.com, and you can check out the cool How to Play video featuring Jancy Sheets.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
Tommy, did you put that Benjamin on Arkansas baseball yet to win the title? Have you done that yet?
I thought you were going to do it. We're going to split that.
I thought you were going to do it, and I was going to split it with you.
I think the odds are going down after we've talked about it.
Yeah, they are. Now, Arkansas, I think, is...
They had the 4th best odds to win the College World Series. Wake Forest was 1. It was all SEC teams other than Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, LSU, Florida, and then Arkansas.
Arkansas was what? Was it 11-1? I believe it was 11-1 initially when we started talking about it. And I think it's been bet down since our conversation a little bit.
Because all of our listeners decided to invest some money. I don't know if you caught the what I said. I had a Morning Rush listener text me, showed me the betting card. $680 last night.
So if he'd have lost, would he have not gotten to go on the golf trip? Would that have wiped out his golf trip?
No, he'd still go, but now he can justify spending an absurd amount of cash for this upcoming golf trip in August. And I played first round yesterday. It was horrid. I want to break 90 at some point this year. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm just
practice makes perfect.
I guess, man. I that's what I've been told.
It's probably not going to happen like in February, but it might happen before the year's over.
Thank you.
You got a lot of time left, man.
I appreciate the confidence. It kind of
sharper eraser.
I didn't say
pencil.
I was confident you were going to do it. I said it was mathematically possible.
Not probable, just possible.
It's mathematically possible.
Guys, I want to come back to this this NIL stuff with the Tennessee Volunteers, and we touched on it for 3 or 4 minutes in the 7 o'clock hour. But so the NCAA is apparently investigating the name, image, and likeness violations in multiple sorts, particularly football in Tennessee, as sources confirming. You mentioned Pat Forty, Pete Thamel. There's a bunch of big-time college football people that are kind of following this report. Now, Tennessee feels confident that they have not done anything in regards to NCAA guidelines to NIL. They just had to deal with some Jeremy Pruitt stuff that just happened a few years ago. It's kind of involving their collective, something with the Sphere. Guys, I feel like, y'all tell me if I'm wrong on this. I feel like the NCAA has now become hall monitors. You remember hall monitors in high school? The people that would roam the halls and try and get people in trouble for ditching class or going to the bathroom too long or whatever the case. You might get in trouble, but most of the time you can have your way with them. You could tell them something or you could just ignore them and nothing was going to happen. With what the NCAA has become, now 20, 30 years ago, not the case at all. But I feel like the NCAA is just a bunch of hall monitors now. No real power, no real punishment that's going to come of any, again, violating anything, like if you were doing certain things in high school. It's just, you might get in trouble, you might not. There doesn't seem to be any indication. Am I off base on that, or do they still have a power or two that I'm missing at this point?
Well, if they get you in their sights, I'm sure it still feels like they've got some power. The thing, they don't have subpoena power, and you know they you don't go to jail for lying. When you're being investigated by the NCAA. I've not been involved in, obviously, one of those investigations or meetings. I don't know exactly what goes on in there. I do know from the outside looking in this particular instance, I'll be interested to see why they've decided that what Tennessee's done is worse than what others are doing, or what Florida State's done, why it's worse than what others are doing, or where they turned in is. I just don't know.
I think your hunch earlier was correct. Someone tattled. Someone complained. They missed out on whether it was, and again, this is my opinion, whether it was Nico or someone else on that roster, and they're like, oh, we don't want this to slide. We don't want to keep losing players to Tennessee, who apparently has one of the best collectives, not just the SEC, but in college football. The thing in all this is, like, the whole idea behind collectives and NIL is the thought was that it wasn't going to be an inducement to get kids to campus, but we know that's not the case at all. So this is happening. It's kind of like you said earlier, like they picked out Florida State, they picked out Tennessee. This is happening everywhere. And I'm just like, if you don't think it's happening in Arkansas too, you're wrong. It is happening everywhere in college football.
There's different scales based on your ability to pay.
That is true. But this idea that it's just like Tennessee's just the ones, that Josh Heupel and that program and that collective just the ones, I cannot get on board with that at all.
One of the things that I do think may be involved in some of this, and I'm going to be wondering and watching to see if it is, how much you were throwing out the $7 million figure a little bit earlier. How much of what these kids are being promised is real? Are these, we're focusing on this issue from the standpoint of, Tennessee cheated, or there was a level of inducement that just went above and beyond what the norm is. But there's also been so much conversation about what's real and what's not. Who's on the up and up and who's not. And, I wonder if there were not some things promised that perhaps did not materialize. But I say I wonder because I don't know. We're just kind of speculating out loud, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody right now. So I can see on one hand where maybe these schools did something in a recruiting situation that made another school so mad that they turned them into the NCAA. But I can also see situations where perhaps things through collectives were promised and they never actually materialized. I just don't know.
The prime example, I think, with the point you just brought up with Jaden Rashada in Florida, who was evidently going to be promised like $14 million and wasn't even going to come close to that point. And I've seen other players on social media and speaking to this, like they get to a certain school, they're promised this amount, they don't get it. They tell high school recruits. They tell transfers. So that is a kind of an underrated problem when it comes to this discussion.
But there's two sides to that street too. and you were talking about this kid, Rashada, whatever the name was. They were shopping that kid around for 2 years. When you ask somebody to promise you the moon, you demand, you got to promise me the moon. You ask somebody to promise you the moon, they'll do it. They'll do it. And that's what happened, in my judgment, looking from the outside in. They shopped this kid around. They wanted millions of dollars for him. They asked somebody to promise it. Well, by God, somebody did. And then they couldn't produce the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then another place said, well, we'll do this. And all of a sudden the money wasn't there. And he ends up maybe at a spot where he didn't plan on going. Now, I'm not saying that the schools or the collectives are at fault here. In this particular situation, it may be the people that are working with him. I think each case may be different.
Now, you floated the idea that maybe they were turned in by the other school. We're speculating. Let me just float another thought or theory. Because who's the most damaged? Yeah, the school that maybe missed out on the kid on something that was promised but not delivered. But who's probably the angriest about it? The family of that kid who was promised the moon, as you say, got nothing. So, I mean, if you wanted to sell me on the idea that some of these families are scorned by, hey, I was promised the moon and I got the cheese, instead.
Well,
now, I can see that.
Sometimes they're worth cheese and they ask for the moon.
Well, that's no question.
And that happens a lot too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's two motivated parties in this case. The schools that missed out and then the families that, felt like the promises weren't delivered.
I was listening to Brett Good yesterday talking about this issue, and obviously he's a guy that played college and professional. Didn't play college when NIL was a thing, but earned some money in the National Football League. I think what's so difficult, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think fans would have a different thought on NIL is based on performance, right? Like college football coaches are paid a lot of times based on performance. The highest paid coaches are the ones that win the most, right? I don't think again, you're probably still not the biggest fan of college kids getting paid, but I don't think if they're performing, I think there's less pushback on that.
Well, it's always been that way, Ty. I mean, just look at a professional deal. I mean, how much are we paying that guy? When he's hitting 205. Harry Carey used to scream it into the microphone years ago, and it's always been that way. How many pros do you see sign the big contract and tank? We still talk about Bobby Bonilla every year when he gets paid by the Mets, and he's been out of baseball for 20 years. We always gripe about the guys that make the money and don't perform the way we think they should, and that's translated into college sports now.
But I think about, like, for example, in Texas. I know you don't like any Texas quarterback, but Arch Manning supposedly makes more than his starter and the guy that's in front of him and Quinn Ewers. That should never happen, but it is. And then
yeah, but I mean, Brock Purdy's making the minimum as a pro. I mean, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, but I think he'll get paid after this year. I just think there's way more examples of either guys riding the pine or riding the bench that are getting paid ample amount of money that you'd be shocked
Arch
by.
Manning's the exception rather than the rule in terms of backup being paid more than his starter. Find me another situation in college football that's like that. It's not there.
Yeah, it's very rare. But I do think there is something to be said about guys, again, making money that don't do anything on the field whatsoever, don't contribute at all. And
hey, how many people listening to this show have thought, why is that guy I work with even getting paid? I mean, we always think that. You always think there's people out there that aren't worth the money that they're being paid. But, yes, it's being transferred into college sports. There's no doubt about that. But I think it also translates into all walks of life.
That's exactly right. So,
Speaking of money, guys, let me talk to you about the Mach 1 Moment podcast. If you've not listened to it and you do pay attention to your money, you're missing out. 2024, there's a lot of questions. I mean, we're barely into it. 1 month down. We got 11 to go. What's the Fed going to do about interest rates? The thing that I like about the Mach 1 Moment podcast is they take national issues and they bring them home. These are local financial experts. They talk about a lot of the things that we read about, hear about, and they talk about how it's going to affect you and your money, your retirement. If you've not listened, let me give you the address, market-moment.com. You can go to market-moment.com mach1financial.com and find out more information. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor. They're located in Rogers, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
So, staying on the subject of money, we kind of joked about my golf game earlier, which is probably always going to be horrendous.
We weren't joking.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. PGA Tour, Tommy, is agreeing to that $3 billion deal with that group. They're
$3 billion.
$3 billion. Yeah. I need to make sure there's a B in front of that, not an M.
Big difference.
You guys are more of the golf guys. I mean, I've read a little on this. I've seen a bunch of opinions. I mean, as the two golf guys of the show, what do you make of this?
Well, the players are going to have equity essentially in the future. And I think they're going to be able to make more money. But when the tours return a profit at the end of the year, they're going to get to share in some of that. Golf. I'll say this: you were talking about just a minute ago. Well, what if NIL worked in a way where you got paid what you earned, what you were worth? Well, golf's exactly that. If you don't make the cut, you get zero. You win the tournament, you get the biggest prize, and it goes down from there. So, I mean, Chuck, for my money, golf's the biggest meritocracy there probably is, because week to week you earn your keep. There's no contracts on the course, at least. And but I think players had grown tired. That's what spurned Liv of seeing the PGA Tour make all this money, at least in their minds. And now they're, I think, with this setup, they're going to be able to put all this together and share in that pot.
Yeah, for the rank and file golfer, it has been a true meritocracy. Now for the stars, how they do how they do at the Western Open is not going to determine whether or not they have a nicer house next year. They've got so many endorsements and appearance fees and things like that. They're fine. But for the rank and file golfer, it is a week-to-week deal. I mean, it's a check-to-check deal. And I do, and I've heard lots of stories from the young pros who aren't winning money. Golf's an expensive game.
Yes, sir.
And when you're not winning money and you don't have sponsors buying all your stuff, it's a really expensive game. A lot of these guys are barely scraping by, literally, when they first start out. And it sounds like, there are moves in place to maybe, make it a little bit more advantageous. It seems to me like if I was Liv, and I think they've done this, they target the college golfer. That going out on the PGA Tour, man, you're going to have bologna sandwiches for a couple of years. You can go to Liv, and you can live like a king right now. And so it seems like the PGA Tour is trying to take care of some of those rank-and-file golfers and some of those young guys.
Now, this is an alliance with the Saudi, PIF or whatever. That's where the $3 billion's coming from, and they're at Pebble Beach. People are paying attention this week out on their West Coast swing, and I don't know if the public sentiment. I think with the older golf fan, and I think. What do you think the average age is of a true golf fan that watches week in, week out? It's got to be mid-50s or up, right?
Yeah, I would think 55.
Yeah, that's exactly the number I had in my head. I still don't think with the majority of those folks, this Saudi involvement is still I still don't think that's very pleasing to the palate. And I'll be interested to see if it takes away from already a niche sport and divides it even more.
I will admit it's changed the way I've watched it a little bit. It's not kept me from watching it. And look, I don't watch an abundance of golf anyway. But I have to admit, I do think about Liv and the Saudi involvement every time I watch golf on television now. And I'm not saying it's at the front of my mind. It's not, it was a good tournament, but I hate those guys. It wasn't like that. But I do in the back of my mind think about it sometimes. And I do think for some, it's changed their overall perception of the game and the values of the game. And the thing that has always separated golf are the values of the game. And oftentimes it's the values of the people who play the game.
Yeah.
When you bring all of this into the equation, some of that's brought into question. And I think maybe that, to an extent, too, for the older, seasoned, traditional golfer is something they're not really on board with.
Now, the way this is set up, they're putting the $3 billion in. If it passes all the regulatory approvals, and there's the number from what I've read is 200 of the golfers on the PGA Tour will have access to these funds over time as they vest to about 50% of that money. Jordan Spieth was in an ESPN article. He's outspoken that, hey, we don't need this. But he's one of those higher-profile golfers who's making more money off the course than on the course. So he's not the rank and file you're discussing. I mean, he's got he's got 8-figure deals off the course.
Yeah, so. and look, I was going with basketball yesterday when this came out, so I'm not as well versed on this story, admittedly, but there is just an incredible amount of money when you look at the golf world right now, and I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's there.
Golf's kind of making a comeback after COVID, to a certain degree. I mean,
I think a lot of people got recreationally involved in golf, but to bottom line the story, the players now own it. You know, the players on the PGA Tour are essentially the owners of the league. That's the bottom line.
That's fair.
$3 billion's a lot of money. I mean, we're just talking about money, but
it's got to get all done and pat. And I just wonder if the government has any say so or will have any say so and stand in the way of, when the Saudis are involved. I think it does take a little more scrutiny, and it should.
Yeah. So again, that's something I'm keeping on. Masters only two months and a couple days away, boys. I know you guys are excited about that.
I'm more excited this year than ever before. So I think we'll maybe have a little more involvement at the Masters this year. I'm hoping.
Hey, I was kind of looking at this deal as you were talking about it, and it sounds like, based on what I'm seeing, Tommy. I mean, you're right. They're trying to lock down the top players. Yeah. Trying to lock down the top players, keep them from leaving.
Yeah, and because if they all defect and go over that, I don't think either side wins. A merger at some point is the only way that it really – golf's not a big enough sport or a big enough base to have two competing leagues. Even the NFL had to merge two leagues years ago to make it work. So I think that's what this is going to bring it all in. All right, we got more to do. McClarty Daniel Hotline. We can take your calls. Sassy's the place to be. Eric Busselman Live. It'll be happening a little bit more at the next Sassy's get-together, as you can try those award-winning smoked wings, all their tender brisket and pulled pork. Don't forget happy hour from 3 to 6. Hey, when it comes to barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more, nobody does it better than Sassy's. Eat, drink, and be sassy.
All right, we'll come back to Arkansas's win last night next.
Don't touch my beef jerky now.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call The Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is The Morning Rush.
And he's in. Touchdown, Arkansas. Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Subiaco in Scranton. If you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Mark your calendars and save big at the Greater River Valley RV Show, going on February 1st through the 4th at Crabtree RV Center in Alma. Special show pricing and financing available on all units, new or used. Come see our large inventory of industry-leading brands such as Grand Design and Forest River. Take advantage of the huge savings at the Greater River Valley RV Show at Crabtree RV Center, February 1st through the 4th. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
The Hangout, Fort Smith's newest fitness center. Over 8,000 square feet of 24-hour fitness. Indoor pickleball, tennis, and racquetball. Looking for help with your fitness needs? The Hangout has group and individual fitness training, with more options coming soon. The Hangout, 5400 Gary Street, or thehangoutfs.com. Pickleball leagues forming now. Be a part of something different, something better that Fort Smith has needed. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Benefield got it over the 7-5 Vanover. Now East driving as it knocked away by Davenport. To the other end, Blocker with a throwdown. Layden Blocker dunked it over the 6'8 Aiden Shaw. The Razorbacks are up by 15.
This is fun.
It was fun, Z. Getting that victory last night. First road win of the season, second in conference play. Big part of that win. Kai Mitchell. Can't say enough good things about him this morning. Musk couldn't say enough good things about him after the game. We'll share what he had to say coming up in just a bit.
Hey, if you're looking for equipment around the farm or your work operation, WT Equipment has hot deals during preseason savings going on now on New Holland equipment. Now's the time to find the model you want with the best savings before the season begins. 0% financing for 60 months or choose a free loader on compact tractors. 0% financing or cash back on mid-range tractors and get a select hay tool or get up to $40,000 in cash back on new T7 tractors right now. Hurry into WT Equipment today. Find your home right there for truckloads of savings when you buy right now. These offers end at the end of March, so don't wait. WT Equipment, online at WTEquip.com. They are your partner in progress.
Guy with another double-double after Kentucky gets a one against Missouri last night. On his birthday, 19 points, 14 rebounds. Can't say enough good things about him.
I think he's practiced really hard. I think he's been very focused, especially the last 80 minutes of basketball. He's had great practices. He's had really good pre-practices. He's had good post-practices. I think, the last two games, he's had a different renewed focus, which, when he plays like that, he's as good as any center in the country the way that he's played the last two games.
Tied a career high last night with 19 points. And, fellas, one of the underrated aspects, he also drew 6 fouls last night. So you mentioned the physical aspects of the game throughout the morning, Chuck, how much Arkansas dominated. They could not handle him last night.
Yeah, when you can't handle somebody, you got to foul him. And they did that a lot last night. That's sometimes when you know you got them, is when all they can do is hack you and send you to the free throw line.
And Arkansas hit 21 of 26, so you shot the ball and took advantage of that. And it wasn't just Mekhi Mitchell. Jalen Graham had a good game, as did Chandler Lawson. Really, all three bigs have played great the last 3 games.
Yeah, I think our three-headed bigs have been unbelievable. I really do. I mean, I think Chandler and Jalen and Kai have been outstanding. Not good, but outstanding. I mean, Jalen's looking at the rim and he's being super, super aggressive, scoring the basketball. He had 4 steals, 4 assists. I mean, Graham offensively was outstanding, and Chandler continues to do all the little things that might not show up in a box score. And like I mentioned, Kai's play, I mean, when he plays like that, he's as good as any 5 in the country.
Usually you don't run pick and rolls with your 4-man, with your 5 screening. But, guys, you watched that game last night. Mekhi was setting several picks on Jalen Graham's man, and Graham would either take it to the rim or pass it off. He made some pretty good plays kind of that point forward position last night.
The thing about Graham right now, and Musk talked about it right there, he's beginning to fill up the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
When Graham would play before, he'd score 9 points, but he'd have 1 rebound, and he wouldn't have an assist, and he wouldn't have a steal. He just gave you 9 points. Now, there's nothing wrong with 9 points, but it takes more than that to win the game. But I think now you're seeing, I think he had 3 boards last night. Not an inordinate number, but Mekhi was pretty much cleaning up everything they missed. But the 4 assists, the 4 steals, that's a player that's playing a complete game. And he is looking to score when he gets the ball. And he's got such an array of moves with his feet that he can get a shot off against guys that are taller.
And I've noticed, and I heard in the offseason, I have noticed, he's still not an elite defender by any stretch, but he also had 3 blocks last night, Chuck. Yeah. And there was one block, I think it was Keon Minifield that got beat, that Graham, I mean, that guy was a straight line Graham, and Graham just came over to help and just absolutely stuffed it. He has gotten way more vertical this season and actually defending the rim than he did last year. Definitely improved there.
Well, it seems like they're not giving the offensive player quite the advantage at the rim that maybe they have in the past. And I'm not saying it's easier to defend. I'm not saying that at all. But you don't see the charges. Seems to me like maybe a little bit more contacts being allowed in there, which I'm fine with. I like the verticality rule, and I think that's probably helped him.
UNZ were cracking me up at the end of the game and at points because they didn't call. I know that Arkansas took 26 free throws, but guys, they could have called a lot more fouls than they did last night. They ended up calling 44 in the game. There's probably 60 fouls in this game they probably let go last night. It was a physical game.
Well, so you're wanting more fouls?
No, I'm just saying, I was cracking up on both ends of the floor because I felt like at times guys would go into the paint, get fouled, they'd look at the ref, no call, and then the other way would be the same thing.
But you got who's initiating the contact when you go to the hole? Is the defender initiating the contact, or is the offensive player going in there and creating all of the contact? That's the big thing you got.
Well, before we get into a rules debate, just from a pure entertainment standpoint, there's nothing entertaining about a parade to the free throw line.
That's exactly right.
Coaches may like it, and, they may feel like that's a way to win the game, and they're right. But if you're sitting in the stands or watching on television, there's nothing worse than a parade to the free throw line.
I think, and I know it's the worst team in the league, potentially. Bandy has something to say about that. But I think last night did show you Arkansas can win by not shooting the ball 40 times at the free throw line. Like, they've got some.
Yes. And now you got to carry it over. against a better team.
And
against a better team.
And shortened time, as we discussed, playing late last night and playing at 11 a.m. on Saturday with them having no games this week.
Well, it's going to be a busy weekend at Oaklawn. I know a lot of people will be looking for things to do. With the Hogs on the road, you might want to head to Oaklawn Park this weekend. Big Saturday with 4 stakes races. They've moved the Southwest Stakes up because of maybe some weather that's going to come in late in the day on Saturday. 11:30 is the post time now, and the Southwest Stakes is going to be early in the card. 4 stakes races, including the Southwest, as I mentioned, the Martha Washington, the King Cotton, American Beauty, all big parts of the calendar at Oaklawn, all this weekend because of weather in the previous weeks. If you don't have the Oaklawn Anywhere app on your phone, tablet, or computer, download that now. Whether you have an Apple device or a Android device, you can get it at bet.oaklawn.com on an Android. Go to the Apple App Store, find it there. Use the promo code RUSH24 for a $150 sign-up bonus, and enjoy the Southwest Stakes this weekend at Oaklawn Park.
All right, when we return, your SEC updates, some other action in basketball last night.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
This is former Razorback Jalen Tate, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-568-2790. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-568-2790. That's 800-568-2790. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-568-2790.
This is The Morning Rush.
Razorback! I'm Erica Carson, Internet Sales Manager, inviting you to save today the Studeville Way.
Everyone is invited to save on every vehicle on our lot.
Every vehicle on our lot. We're smashing and slashing prices that make us cry, but will make you want to buy.
New and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs,
Just like you see on TV.
Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, all on our lot. So come on over and save on the spot.
Save today the Studeville Way in Photo.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, a Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, a Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. That's a Cut Above, 719-5605.
3rd District Arkansans have a proven leader in Washington, United States Representative Steve Womack. As mayor, Representative Womack led an impressive transformation of the city of Rogers with more than $1 billion in local development.
In the military, Colonel Womack commanded troops at every level, including leading his battalion on a successful deployment to the Middle East following 9/11.
In Congress, Representative Womack led the House Budget Committee in 2018, co-chaired the Joint Select Committee on Budget Process Reform, and currently serves as a senior appropriator. Throughout Arkansas's 3rd District, you can see his work on vital infrastructure like I-49 and XNA, national security issues like the F-35 mission in Fort Smith, and dozens of projects benefiting Arkansas communities. On March 5th, re-elect a proven leader, Representative Steve Womack.
Paid for by Womack for Congress.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. We know that now more than ever, you want to maximize your tax refund, and we're here to help with road-ready certified pre-owned vehicles. They are simply the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our experience and relationships with the banks and lenders helps us get the payment you need while keeping more of your money in your pocket. Maximizing your money, another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
So earlier this basketball season, Auburn elected to sell beer in the jungle in their basketball arena. Now, their football stadium, Jordan-Hare Stadium, still has yet to announce what they're going to do. But, Tommy, Sanford Stadium in Georgia, I remember when we went back in 2021, I can't remember if they were selling beer then or not, but this was one of the last holdouts in the Southeastern Conference, not selling alcohol. They have given in. They are now selling beer to Georgia patrons starting this year outside of just the private suites.
Well, and they don't have to in some places because, A, it's not enough money in a budget as large as like a Bama or a Georgia. You don't have to have that to keep people from choosing not to come to the games because Georgia's been good enough. But at some point the money becomes so big. And, again, everybody thinks you're making tens of millions off beer sales. You're really not. It's about the convenience of your fans, and particularly the suite holders and people like that. So, in the end, I think it was inevitable. They just had to figure out how to administrate it.
Last night in SEC basketball, Florida got a crucial road win on the road against Tennessee. They've lost 2 of 3. Could have lost to Arkansas this week and made it 3 straight. They didn't. This has been a great series this year. Florida just missed out on a chance to beat them earlier this season in Gainesville. Hit a shot before overtime last night. Took them to overtime, won by 3. This Kentucky team, great offense, horrendous defense. And I know they held you to, 57 or whatever it was on Saturday, but consistently SEC, they're giving up 80, 90, high 70s. They're just not a good defensive team under Cal right now. No, and but let's not bury them yet. They'll figure it out. That's what Kentucky does, and they'll make them a run to about the round of 32, and then they'll bow out. That's kind of what Kentucky does, right? Under Cal as of late, yep, they have been pretty putrid in the NCAA tournament, which has been enjoyable for all us Arkansas fans. Hopefully that'll be the same type of thing. Other game, Alabama defeated Georgia in Athens last night. So Bama looking like a team that really come on strong. Grant Nelson's healthier. That's a big deal for that team. Their versatility. They had Pringle, one of their power forward / centers, was suspended. And Oates, I saw some comments after the game talking about if he wants to be a part of the team. He's got to do some things differently, and that's one of their key frontline players. So I'm curious what ends up coming out of that for Alabama basketball. Other news this morning here in the SEC, we talked a little bit about the Tennessee thing. They are getting looked at, Tommy, by the NCAA. They hadn't served allegations just yet, but you do wonder what comes out of Knoxville that was in trouble by the NCAA just a few short years ago. Not same NIL stuff, but some other violations.
Well, and I was looking at, again, everything you see online isn't always necessarily factually right, but it had a list of all the schools that have been under NCAA investigation over the last, I forget, it was 5 or 8 years or something. And it was like 2 for Arkansas, and it was like everybody had, mostly 1s and 2s, right? And it was like 48 for Tennessee. I mean, it wasn't even close. So I don't know. Not everything you read on social media. I remember scamming over there, like, this stood out. So, I mean, Tennessee's had their issues, and some of them have been lumped together, but that's one reason they've been through a few coaches.
We do things above board in Fayetteville.
Well, but most of the league does when you look at that. Tennessee is clearly, if those numbers just thumb their nose at the rules.
Well, they're already, again, they've got the orange colors. They're used to being in orange in jail cells. They're just kind of.
Well, I mean, I think the league is better when Tennessee's good. I mean, there's just no way around that. This league is better, and I know we're going to have to get used to not having divisions, but when Tennessee wasn't on their game and Georgia wasn't, Florida ran away with the East most years. The league is better when you have those three playing well. So we need Tennessee to play well. We need Tennessee to be a good program, but if you've cheated that much and you still have no titles to show for it, that's a problem too.
That's your SEC update this morning here on a Too Stupid Thursday.
Hey, tomorrow we are going to be pointing the spotlight a little bit more on the Arkansas Children's Northwest fundraiser with their Miracles of Magic Radiothon that we're proud to be a part of. Tomorrow's the last day, and we're trying to raise $5,000 here on the Morning Rush. I know some of you, if you're like me, you've put it off. You hadn't gotten around to it. Now, I put in a donation. It's easy to do. Go to hitthatline.com. And click on Children's Fundraiser. Click on the Morning Rush link. And, hey, if it's $5, $50, $20, or we had a generous listener give $500. It doesn't, the amount that you can afford to give is meaningless. It's the fact that we all together appreciate and understand what Arkansas Children's Northwest means to our community. And having world-class pediatric care in our own backyard is something that gives me, as a parent, peace of mind. I'm sure you as a parent or a grandparent as well. They want to raise $200,000. We want to be a small part of that together, you and me and Ty and all the listeners. So hitthatline.com, click on the Children's Fundraiser tab, click on the Morning Rush link, and you can make your donation through tomorrow at hitthatline.com. It's brought to you by our friends at Honda of Fayetteville. You can buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View the inventory online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside the Fayetteville Auto Park. We talked with Isaiah Satania about, a week or so ago. I've lost track of time with all the weather and everything, but I know he's on board and doing an NIL deal with Arkansas Children's Northwest, and I know as someone that was raised in Northwest Arkansas, it's important to him.
Yeah, and he talked about that. We'll get a chance to hear from him a little more. We'll go over some of that stuff, and I know it's always fun for him to get a chance to catch up with some kiddos and that may be going through some tough times, whatever the case may be. So cool to kind of hear his story on that. Tommy, you're talking about cars a little bit there with Honda Fayetteville. It's Car Insurance Day. When's the last time you've been in a wreck? Mine was
knocking on wood. I have
never
on wood.
48 years.
I have never been behind the wheel for one. No,
not even like as a passenger.
I said behind the wheel. I've never been behind the wheel for one. As a kid, my mom rear-ended somebody, but
that's not bad.
I've never been. I mean, knock on wood, I've never been in any kind of more than a fender bender.
We got hit by an 18-wheeler one time when I was on the way to soccer practice when I was like 10, and then I got in a wreck when I was a junior in high school. Messed up me and my brother's truck. Had to pay. I still remember the cost. It was like $900. It was, and for a 17-year-old, that's like your entire life, $900 at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So that was not a fun experience whatsoever. So knock on wood, I have not gotten a wreck since. It got a few tickets, got a few speeding and seatbelts and various other things, but have not gotten an actual wreck.
You don't wear your seatbelt, Ty?
I did in college. There's just one. I got pulled over right by my house. I was about to
Happened just one time, huh?
The seatbelt thing. Yeah, I'm very seatbelt guy. I don't abide by some other rules on the road, but I am a seatbelt guy. I was really ticked off at myself because literally I was grabbing it, and then I see the cop lights flash.
Yeah,
which is always fun. I just pulled out of my house off Gregg Street, and
that's just bad luck.
Yeah,
there.
It was not fun at this point. But again, it's car insurance day for all the insurance people out there. Thank you for not raising my rate after certain things that I.
Well, it's important that you're strapped into the vehicle as you're texting and driving. I think that's really important for you.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. I'll perfectly admit I'm humbly willing to admit my faults, and that is one of them, and one of the many that not just on the road but in other aspects of my life. I've got to stop doing that, or playing music, or just various other things that
playing music's all right. I listen to ESPN Arkansas, but to each their own. So.
Well, I listen to music in the morning to get me going for this show, and then I listen to either our podcast or our stuff the rest of the day. In fact, I was listening to Ruskin and Zach on the golf course yesterday. It's kind of soothing listening to. I guess Derek wasn't there because he was getting his engagement pictures, but it was kind of maybe that's why I played bad. Maybe that's why I played bad because of Brett and Zach. I'm going to blame them.
I don't know that that's it. So I've got other reasons why your golf swing may not be meeting your expectations.
The swing itself. Or various other things.
When's the last time you practiced?
I practiced before. I hit out of the range 10 minutes before. Evidently didn't help.
That's not practice. That's loosening up.
Yeah. Well, same thing. I wasn't impressed with my 9 holes yesterday. I was impressed with this Arkansas basketball team, especially on the glass. I mean, I didn't think this team was going to out-rebound anyone this season, yet Muss said they did it again.
We've done a lot of rebounding drills over the last, leading up to the Kentucky game, and then we continued on. So certainly, feel that's an important aspect to us winning basketball games. I mean, if we don't rebound, Anthony, in this league, we're going to, really, really struggle. So proud of our defensive rebounding. I thought there was, at times we let some balls slip through our hands that we've got to get better at corralling the basketball in traffic, but a much improved job on the glass when you look 1 through 5.
He only got them by double digits last night. Mackay accounted for 14 of those. Again, really impressed with Arkansas's front line and him on his birthday. I mean, he's been a different player these last 2 games, and I thought he had a solid game against Kansas last year in the NCAA tournament. But if he's going to play like that, especially coming off the bench to give them that kind of jolt and that boost, even with the solid start last night, I don't think this team's going to go over in the remaining 10 games. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to pick them to win on Saturday against LSU based on the quick turnaround, but they're not going to lose every game from here on out.
Yeah, you got to beat Vandy. And could you go 500 the rest of the way out?
Be nice. What does that put you at? 5? So that would give you 7 wins, 11 losses. You'd probably at that point not be playing on Wednesday at the SEC tournament. Might get a Thursday slot.
They need that Wednesday slot. I don't know.
Just add to it.
I don't know. But, in the end, this is a team that's very unlikely to go to the tournament. An NCAA tournament. I don't know what in the end, you just like to have some momentum going in. I think Mitchell's got to be a huge key part of that. There's no question. And, does he become a starter? I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's the important thing right now. But the way he's played has been important, because without this lift he's given them in the last 80 minutes, they lose last night. No question about it.
Kind of got lost in the shuffle this morning, but Chuck did say he does expect Trevin Brazile to be back, and I think he used the phrase sooner than later. I don't know if that means this Saturday. I don't know if that means maybe the game after that against Georgia. Again, Arkansas's got kind of a long layover after this game this weekend in Baton Rouge. You don't play till next Saturday at home against the Georgia Bulldogs. Tommy, that quick turnaround hurts you this weekend, but that next weekend you get the benefit of having that bye week, or bye midweek, I'd say.
And, get through this one, get a little break, and get all these guys healthy. That's what you got to get done, and get ready for a stretch run, hopefully.
Yep.
So
10 games left. We'll see if Arkansas can go to 500 like Tommy says, or I would be happy honestly at 4-6. Love 500, but they can win 4 the next.
Hey, remember what you do in March.
Yeah. That'd be the old Frank Broyles phrase that he said many a times as the athletics director. And head football coach at Arkansas. All right, we appreciate everyone joining us here this morning on a Too Stupid Thursday. Tomorrow, we'll be back with you for a Fast Break Friday. I guess it's kind of a football Friday. I do want to talk about Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes at some point because Mahomes mentioned the GOAT, the best quarterback of all time, and Tom Brady. Maybe he's going to become the best. And he credits Tom for that. That's all coming up tomorrow on a Friday. Join us starting at 6 a.m.
Join ESPN Arkansas.